Better leave it to the professionals.
Blessed by Bundy, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like the Brown James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Refuse not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum NFTs. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I gotta shout out
Started
the
off with a
boy.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Breaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits, yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. Thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't already, so do us a favor, drop us a GM in the chat down below, then head up top, smash the like, the repost, bookmark on today's space. We greatly appreciate Sleepy Friday, Sleepy 4th, everyone sleeping in a little bit this morning. No modern market to get things warmed up today. We don't take days off here on Coffee with Captain, at least not during the week. So if you don't mind, go. I know we got the YouTube chat popping off already. We got abstract chat popping off already. Shout out to Diablito, Von Front, and Mesh over there. Appreciate all of you. And just going to look for some extra support on the audio spaces this morning. Little slow discovery in the likes, the bookmarks. No one checks your bookmarks. Anyways, it would be a big help getting things warmed up here today to kind of an open Friday morning. There's a few things I want to get into. I don't know if it'll lead to a deep discussion. We are going to beat the ETH to 10K drum and a thesis behind that. A few other thoughts, but kind of an overall slower news day. So we'll maybe do like an open mic type day today. But we're going to get into it here quickly. So as always, I'm Cap, co-hostless today, but never any financial advice on this show. Crypto's risky, NFTs are risky, meme coins exceptionally risky, and go to zero to moments notice. Please don't put any money you can afford to lose. Know that I will hold tokens I'll talk about from time to time here on the show. I'm not a financial advisor, certainly not your financial advisor. Don't join for that. Just join for some fun, some information, education along the way. Now that we've got that out of the way, hope everyone's having a fun holiday weekend. We are like wet here in Florida. It has been raining all week. It's green. It's the greenest I think I've ever seen this area. It's been, usually we get like the 10-15 minute variety, and it's been just non-stop raining. What from drizzle to hard, the only change is how much rain is coming down. So I think it's supposed to clear up a little bit today, but it looks like maybe hang out kind of on and off storm until Monday. So maybe no cookouts here in my neck of the woods today, but be safe out there if you're the firework type. Just please come back Monday morning with all 10 fingers and toes. Be safe, have fun, don't drink and drive, etc. Pingu is continuing to rip Von Frunten. Every time I log into the Abstract portal, I primarily do it for streaming. There's a few other things I've done on Abstract. I'm not fading Abstract, but I'm definitely not farming it in terms of like grinding daily games or daily activity there. But every time I log in and see my Abstract global wallet, which I think is up like 60% on the week, I am I'm risk on right now, but I'm disappointed for not being levered up. I think the bull market is ready to freaking rip. The money, like, for as upset as I am about this big, beautiful bill. By the way, we got some more information on that for the three of you that care. The representative was, it's a senator rather, out of Idaho who snuck in this just atrocious new regulation on gambling. Senator, can't make this up, his name is Senator Crapo. Senator Crapo took a dump on our favorite hobbies here in the States on sports betting, DFS, poker, etc. It's just, I don't know. It's a long story short. I tweeted out earlier, but game-related language in the big, beautiful bill came from Senate Finance Committee's 549-page report written by Senator Mike Crapo and or his staff / AutoPin, released on June 16th, analysis by PricewaterhouseCoopers, text on page 23. Just all around bad. I'm not going to rant on it anymore. It is what it is. So as I said this morning, my fellow degenerates, join us. It's going to be a glorious second half of 2025. We talk about risk on in the markets. We're levering up our sports betting in best ball. It's already going to be my largest best ball season ever. Depending on how things go, it might be my final one. Might be my last hurrah in the world of high volume fantasy and best ball. But I digress. No more of that. We're gonna go on the positive note, because with this big beautiful build comes a $5 trillion debt ceiling increase. Money printer is coming back on. There's now rumors of the Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, rumors that is next in line to replace Powell. I don't know. I'm definitely not the political expert. I don't know. I don't think they actually fire Powell, but he's set to his term ends in next year in 2026. So I think, like, timing wise, they start warming up the money printer over the second half of the year. They drop rates, whether it's second half of the year. I'm going to go check the poly market, see what the current odds are for a rate reduction here over. I forgot now that I've actually started doing some poly markets. We'll get the check-in too for my first poly market bet, if anyone was around and remembers what that was. But trying to see Fed decision. Okay, here we go. So this is by July, and then we got September as well. Let me show July 1st. Oh, in July, excuse me. So decision this month. No change. So it looks like no rate change coming in July. 94% says no. Let's bump it out till September, and looking likely. So 52% decrease, 42% no change, 50% or 50 bips decrease, 5.9%, and 25 increase. Holy God, could you imagine? So basically, if you combine the 50 bips to 25, we'd be looking at like 58% likely that we get a rate reduction in September. Yeah, if we go out to October or in October. So it's not by. This is tricky. You gotta pay attention to the wording of these things. So I guess basically the same thing, whether it's like September or October meeting, and really about the same percentage, 56, 57%, that we get a decrease in either. I mean, I guess if the prediction market's right, I'm reading this as likely. Majority thinks we would get a reduction in rates in September and October, if I'm interpreting the poly market charts correctly. At least one, I think, seems likely in Q4, Q3, Q4. But I just think things are getting ready to rip assets. So our Bitcoin, our real estate, our any hard assets, I feel are primed to just go burr as money printer comes back on. Disappointed with it's just, I don't know. I'm not a political person. I just, whatever. Markets are going to market, and this is going to likely send the market. So it's like, I'm not going to be a curmudgeonly old man and upset about I can't gamble on sports like I have in the past starting in 2026. I'm going to best position myself to maximize the second half of 2025, 2026, and the remainder of this bull. So the one thing I mentioned we're going to talk about ETH. I'll do one more quick warm up here. I sent out, we're bringing it back, ETH to 10K, and the response I'm getting in my chat, it's probably AI bots, but they're saying it's no longer a meme. I would agree. I'm going to do this. I've never done this before. So I'm going to need some help. I need an audio check because I want to play a quick video, not very long, 2 or 3 minutes, might be 4 minutes max, but I don't know. I want to make sure sound is coming through. So when what an unfortunate name. What is the, before I do this, Mesh, I got to know what you're talking about. What is the unfortunate name you're referencing in the abstract chat? Let me know that, and I'll come back. But I'm going to play this video. Just let me know when I start playing it if sound is coming through. If audio is not coming through, I will kill it. We'll kind of defeat the purpose. This isn't new either. Actually, looks like it came out. CoinDesk sent it out a couple days ago. I missed the initial video, but it's really good. It's Tom Lee, who is a famous Bitcoin bull, was on CNN, CNBC calling for 55K Bitcoin when it was $2,000. And he's the chairman of Bitmine Immersion Technologies. If you missed that news, let me show you. Actually, let me play the video first, and then we'll look at some charts. So let me, again, first time doing the whole video thing here. So I'm guessing that sound is not coming through unless you're hearing the echo on my TV in the back. That might be a problem. Let me try it this way.
GPT of crypto, right? Because
give me a thumbs up if you can hear audio or not. I'm guessing no,
businesses,
based
banks,
on how I'm hearing it. Let me turn my
underneath the stablecoin.
Can you hear audio when I turn my mic off? Give me a thumbs up or 100 in the chat if you can hear the audio.
So,
or if you can't hear the audio of the video, give me a thumbs down.
That essentially accumulates Ethereum to essentially protect and have some influence on the network. So that's why we're creating this treasury vehicle to buy Ethereum. The more Ethereum that's accumulated, the more secure the network is. And I think it's also sort of the architecture.
So I'm seeing some thumbs ups and some downs. You guys the chat has confused me. Mostly thumbs down. Thumbs downs are taking over. So
and JP Morgan doing on Ethereum as a layer 1 blockchain, they're going to want to secure.
Too much to troubleshoot in real time solo. So hopefully y'all can hear me. I'm back. No, like I stopped the video. I know I'm working on like a 10-15 second lag here. So I see the thumbs down. I stopped the video. I will do my best to summarize said video. Tom Lee is the chairman of Bitmine Immersion Technologies, BMNR, and Joe's going to come up to make sure I'm at least my audio is coming through. Joe, you can hear me at least, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. I could not hear the audio. Did you, when you shared the screen, sometimes there's like a little box that says, check this box to share audio. Did you do that?
I did. It was on, but it's some of my settings are off where what it's doing is it's not, when I play from X, instead of playing through my MacBook or, I do have like, yes, share audio when I share the tab, but instead of doing that, it's playing it through the TV behind me. I just need to change this. Right now, the signage behind me is I just have a Roku and I screen mirror. So it's like a second monitor. Like I see my mouse. It's just a second monitor basically. And so it's pulling my audio back to the TV. Long story short,
but it's the output. Yeah, it's pulling it to the wrong output basically.
Yep. So I can play around with it, but really versus fixing that, what I need to do. Oh, so audio was coming through on YouTube. That's interesting. Interesting. Congratulations, Mr. O, for taking over the top spot on YouTube. Our Von Frunton is coming for you, though, just FYI. Solomon says, come at me. Good luck over there. Good luck battling out in the YouTube streets. We need more. I said I was going to do this. I failed to share with Finn. I'm going to push hard. Everyone tell Finn they need to have a king / queen of the abstract chat. We need crowns in the abstract chat for the top abstract chatter. Actually, I'm going to suggest 2. The top abstract chatter. In the second, like a crown with a money sign on it, the top tipper. I think those would be 2 fun, gamified, really easy. Well, I shouldn't say easy. I'm not a dev. It's like
that's what Twitch does. Twitch has. I'm pretty sure Kick has it too, but on Twitch, they have like top subscriber, top donator, top chatter, and you earn points in Twitch for all those achievements.
So I've used Twitch. I watched a few shows. What do they mean? Like, do you get anything with your points? Can you redeem your points? Like, what do those Twitch points add up to? What is it? Why do I want Twitch points?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a couple things. So number one, there's individual streamer points. So like as a streamer, you can give people options to redeem just within your stream, right? So like, for example, when I used to stream a lot, people could redeem points if I was playing Madden and there were people watching me play Madden, they could redeem points to call the next play. And whatever play they wanted, I would have to run. Or they could redeem points for me to, get up and dance, and they would get to pick the dance, right? Like you could do all kinds of, you could redeem points to get new stickers and new emojis, right? So there's all kinds of, and that's the streamer itself rewarding you as you earn points within their stream. And then Twitch itself has a point system where, like, as you earn points, you get benefits from Twitch, like, free downloads and, things from like their partners. Kind of, I think Discord does this too, where like you all of a sudden you'll get a coupon in the bottom left of your Discord where it's like, hey, download this game on Steam for free because you're a power user on Discord or whatever. But most of the points you earn, so some of the big streamers, the only way you can actually type in their chat is to be a subscriber, and is to, you can unlock the ability to like highlight your message so that streamer can see you by redeeming points. So there's all kinds of cool stuff you can do with it on Twitch.
Got it. No, makes sense. And yeah, I think that said makes even more sense. Are you getting an echo? Probably, huh?
No, you're perfectly fine.
No, it's just you, Cap.
Okay. Probably, yeah. I'm gonna finish this thought, and I gotta throw the other phone in the other room because it's echoing on my end bad. So Twitch points, abstract points, crowns, like who's the top chatter makes sense. And you know what? Abstract chat. Oh, Crapo is the unfortunate name. Yeah, unless you're a crappy senator that proposes ridiculous laws that cut the legs off of all sports bettors and gamblers and DFS people. Like, he deserves the crappy name. I'm not tilted or anything. Yeah, it is a crappy name, Mr. Crapo. You crappy man, you. Anyways, back to the point. We're getting back on the tracks here. Our friend, not Senator Mike Crapo, rather our friend, our hero, Mr. Thomas Jong Lee, a prominent Wall Street strategist, investor, and crypto bull. What you didn't hear in that video was Tom is the chairman of Bitmine Immersion. Bitmine Immersion he's been a Bitcoin bull forever. They've just pivoted their strategy to essentially become the strategy, no pun intended, of ETH. They goal is to accumulate $250 million in ETH. And my aha moment listening to the video, first of all, let me show you how the chart's looking here. This is Bitmine Immersion Technologies, traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Last week, the 27th, it was trading for about $4.40. Today, it's trading for $135. Joey or Andrew, do you want to any guesses what happened between the 27th and today?
I guess it probably dumped.
I mean, it's pulled back a little bit pre-market, but it's $135 per share, up from $4. Joey, any guesses what led to the, I don't know what that is, 1,200% increase over the past week?
I don't know. I mean, if it went from like 4 to 40, but like 4 to 140, I have no idea what would cause that.
Nancy Pelosi made a phone call.
They announced their strategy. They announced their Ethereum reserve strategy, and the market loved it. So just as Saylor has been beating the Bitcoin strategic reserve strategy, the Ethereum strategic reserve strategy, extremely well received by market. I shared this with my in real life pickers friends who are much more savvy in the TradFi world than I. One of them just responded, says, Tom Lee is a very bright guy who has some impeccable calls the last 5+ years. So you have a respected voice on Wall Street who's running an insane track record, was early Bitcoin caller at 2K, beating that drum, now is shifting and going all in on ETH. And the thesis is what sold me. The thesis he shared is why ETH to 10K is not a meme anymore. It's going to happen. I'm grateful I didn't capitulate many times. I mean, I've talked about it on the show. I was on the verge of capitulating. And it's just like, I didn't, because the fundamentals never changed. And what's happening now is the fundamentals are they're becoming very clear and evident to those of us that aren't here. My
Cap, stupid question, but like they're buying all this ETH on leverage, right?
I believe so. Some will, some are just going to stack. But what he shared, more than just like buying these digital assets on leverage, is one strategy. The bigger strategy, what he shared that was the aha moment for me, and what I've struggled to get my head around, is the L2 scaling strategy. It made sense to me. Okay, that makes sense. That's ETH mainnet we saw in 2021, 2022. It couldn't even handle NFTs. There's no way in hell. Now, granted, we've had the merge since then and everything, but there was just no way that ETH mainnet was built to handle all the world's financial markets. It wouldn't do it. Like, L2s are absolutely necessary to scale this thing. What I didn't think would happen is that it would kill the value accrual back to ETH, the native token. It's just like the fees, as it scales and all the traffic goes on L2s, the fees on L1s have not evaporated, but or not on L1s. The fees on mainnet have diminished, and therefore I think that's a big part of the value suppression. What tipped the scales for me, and I would encourage everyone, I did pin that video up top. Don't go listen to it now, but after the show, go take it's like 4 minutes. It's the strategy, the theory, the thesis that stablecoins are here, right? They're stablecoins primarily, like 52% of stablecoin volume is on ETH. It's where banks, it's where the BlackRocks of the world, anyone who comes in and spins up an L2, whether it's to be a on-chain on-chain stock exchange, whether it's to be an bank, whether it's the banks creating their stable coins, as these companies get into the stablecoin business, which is happening more and more and more. Like, I don't see anyone in banking that is either going to be launch their own stablecoin or adopt Circle, or as they do this, as these big institutions get in the stablecoin business, they're going to buy ETH. They're going to buy ETH to secure the network. They're going to buy ETH to protect their downside. They're going and not buy like $10,000 of ETH like we made. They're going to buy millions of dollars of ETH, $250 million of ETH. And I just that checks out. Like, I don't see someone like BlackRock launching a stock exchange on chain and I'm not talking about their ETFs. I'm talking about in their strategic reserves. I don't see a scenario where these big financial institutions go heavy in stablecoins, go heavy in L2s, go heavy in the Ethereum ecosystem, and not stack and stake a bunch of ETH. Is this like, I didn't explain it nearly as well as Mr. Lee did, but is this, Andrew, does this make sense? Does this check out? Are you buying the ETH at 10K now with this thesis? How about you, Joey?
Yeah, I mean, the thesis makes sense, right? Like if the majority of the stable coins of the world are on ETH and you're gonna transact on ETH, then you have to believe in ETH, and why wouldn't you own more ETH? I would be curious that, like, I guess my counter to that thought is, and maybe when Joe wakes up, he can come up because he probably would know this better than us because of all like how it works. But like, does stablecoin transactions on ETH, so like the USDCs and all these things like that, right? Would there come a point where there's, at what point do we need what's that number of how many transactions of stable coins, so that way ETH can then start to collect more fees, maybe? I'm not technical like that, right? So I don't understand, but there's got to be a point where if there's enough transactions happening with the stable coins on ETH, that then the value of ETH goes up because the transaction volume,
yes,
it's a specific point, right?
100%.
Is that
Yeah.
Am I coming through clearly?
Absolutely. Stable coins right now are the major driver of fees on ETH. They contribute to, I heard 50%. I just double checked with ChatGPT. It says between 20 and 40% of the total gas fees during typical market conditions, and sometimes more than 50% during high stablecoin activity like market volatility, large redemptions, mints. The breakdown estimates, this is a mid last year, USDT 15 to 25%, USDC 10 to 20%, DAI 3 to 5%, others 2 to 3%, combined total of 30 to 45% of Ethereum fees are generated off stablecoins. Scott Bessent just, and like really influential people are calling the stablecoin market to explode from here. Like we finally, like it's found product market fit. It's still the very, 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 very early days in terms of the traditional finance world, and the floodgates are open. They're all it's already begun. And in competitive environments, it's rare that you see like 30% of the people get on the new thing and the other 70% don't follow. Like it's just, we've hit a point of an inflection point. I don't think there's any going back. Like they're all going to come in. And now is there what are the other outcomes here? Well, maybe something happens and instead of ETH being the main place stablecoins are traded, they go on Solana or some other,
My question would be though is, and again, this is far beyond my knowledge, how does more stablecoin usage make ETH go up though, right? Like why would the ETH price go up for stablecoin usage, right? Yes, it's more transactions, but do more transactions actually mean ETH price goes up? I don't know. Again, this is outside my realm of knowledge.
Yeah. Andrew, I saw your hand up there and I saw the wave. We're going to go to you next, but it looks like you had to go. So I mean, with the more volume, more fees. You got to remember too, like the meme of 2021, 2022 was ultrasound money. We can blame the bankless boys for that. Although I'm starting to come around to them again. They're actually, I won't hold the grudge forever, but yeah, the more theoretically, I don't know where the actual like threshold is, but in theory, ETH can become deflationary again. You know, it's. I can't believe I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to the ultrasound money website just because it shows a good chart. It's funny. I used to be like in my, I get started typing the first word and automatically pop up. I just haven't done there. I haven't been there forever. So this is not the best. So funny because gas is 1 right now. Supply change. This is last 7 days. 945 ETH burned, 18,000 ETH issued. Like I was naive to the point. I thought this was actually, like, I believed them when they said ultrasound money and ETH would be deflationary. Theoretically, it could. Maybe in a world where all the world's financial transactions come on chain and they're all ETH or ETH layer 2s, like, yeah, maybe this could be from a 0.76 supply growth to to actually deflationary again. Let me see some of these other time frames. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know what this panda is. If this is year to date. Anyways, you can see here on the year since the merge, 2 years since the merge, it's almost flat, right? This has just happened here recently as someone more intelligent could explain this better. My read is that it is with so much of the activity moving to layer 2s. That's why we see GUI at 1 and just not that much ETH getting burned. But that's not all of the value accrual back to ETH. But part of it would be more activity means more ETH getting burned, and instead of being a slight increase, like here was the merge, and for a while this entire period from February 23 to February 25, so for 2 years ETH was deflationary. It's counter to my point because during that same time frame ETH didn't go. I guess it did actually. I need someone that's bigger in markets to talk through this, because it just hit me that back in December, ETH was 4K. Like December 17th might have been the local top.
Yeah, we talked about this the other day, how crazy it was that 6 months ago ETH was 4,000.
Yeah. Is it that simple though? Is like when ETH flips deflationary, it number go up? Like, is that, am I oversimplifying it?
Isn't that the Bitcoin thesis, right? That like there's a limited supply of I mean, it's not the same thesis, right? Limited supply of Bitcoin, which is why Bitcoin goes up in price. But if ETH becomes deflationary, then it would make sense that price goes up because then there's less supply, right? Kind of similar thesis.
Yeah. What happened in April of 24? Does anyone remember? Like what reversed the trend? Was this an update? Was this an Ethereum upgrade? Something happened in April of 24 that reversed the deflationary trend, sent it, up. Now, where it goes from here, I don't know. Like, I'm not that intelligent to be able to see what's next on this chart. If it keeps going up, it's a bit bad for ETH price. But if it even dips back down to even, I think very bullish for ETH. Like, I don't know the Solana numbers, but Solana is very much so inflationary. ETH is right now, but there is a world where it gets back into deflationary. And long story short, I guess the TLDR, more activity on the network, theoretically number should go up as a result.
Cap, April of 2024, it says SEC closes Ethereum 2.0 investigation. It says Hong Kong launches spot Bitcoin and Ether ETFs. US SEC delays spot Ether ETF decision. Ethereum staking reaches all-time high. That's all I could find.
That'd be weird if the ETFs. I'm gonna have to put some more thought to this. It's not making sense in my brain why ETFs and the institutional buying power would flip it from the deflationary trend to almost sending it to inflationary. It's not registering for me. I don't, not to try to look like a thinking man here on the show, but it's not. This seems like that should do the opposite, not what actually happened. So I don't know. Interesting. Anyways, I digress. ETH to 10K. It's book it. It's the belief is back, and it's not from degens. April. So Crypto G says that was the ETH 2.0 update. That might have been the blobs that helped with the gas fees. That makes sense, right? Like it was. Again, I know this. I'm not the one to speak most intelligently about this, but when they did the blobs, the last update, it was very beneficial for the L2s And I think they just turned the knob too far to benefit L2s versus ETH mainnet. Like, I don't know the right answer, but probably somewhere in between there for value accrual back to ETH mainnet would probably been the better answer. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Crypto G. Thank you for that. That would make sense. The fee structure changed in April 24, and all of a sudden ETH went from deflationary to the inflationary trend. Thanks for that. But even still, I think this thesis of these institutions stacking ETH to help secure the network and protect their downside risk, I think checks out. And especially when you have very influential voices on Wall Street beating this drum, it's what we haven't seen yet for ETH. Right? If you can think back when they launched the Bitcoin ETF, Larry Fink went on his media tour and it was beating the digital gold, and you saw dozens of, if not hundreds of video clips. I thought we were going to get the digital oil media tour when they launched the ETH ETF. It just never came. Like, I'm sure he did an interview or two, but paled in comparison to the ETH media tour. And I don't watch mainstream news. I don't watch CNBC or CNN, but what I see repurposed from those mainstream media channels on this app and elsewhere is, it felt like, I don't know, 20 to 1, 50 to 1 press and media tour on Bitcoin ETF as it did ETH ETF, to the point where I don't know if we even still, like, we're over a year into the ETH ETF. We've never really seen the media tour. Like, they've just never they haven't even attempted to create a narrative for that matter. We got digital oil a little bit early on, but they just, like, no one kept beating that drum. I think this, what Tom Lee just started in this ETH treasury companies, or ETH on your balance sheet, staking ETH to secure the network because you're in banking and you're using it. So it'd be silly for you to build a stablecoin division of your business and not have that, the underlying asset, the main native token in your treasury. So I think that, I think it's powerful. If everyone check me if you think I'm way off and you think I'm crazy and I'm bag biased. I am bag biased. Like, ETH is still my yes.
I know you're not going to sell Bitcoin for ETH, but right now, looking at all the majors, the mid majors, the Pengus of the world, like, what would you port over? Like, what tokens would you be willing to sell because of how bullish you are in ETH right now? Like, if you were looking at a 2 to 5 year horizon.
It's a good question, because while I said I'm grateful I didn't capitulate, even though I should have capitulated to 4K. It's still outsized. So I'm not selling any ETH. I've yet to buy any ETH this cycle because of just my current position. I now am entering the mindset where it's probably getting back in my buckets of these are majors I need to continue to stack. Like, my goal this cycle has been, just fully transparent, was 2 new whole Bitcoins. Stack sats, accumulate 2 new Bitcoins this cycle, and that was a win. I think in addition to Bitcoin, I've been stacking a little bit of Sol, and I'm at the point I'm going to bring ETH into that. Will I sell other assets to rotate into ETH? Probably some NFTs. I need to put more. I don't know how I was wrong in 2021, 22 on them being a levered bet on ETH. Like, true question. I'll do a poll later today. Yeah, I'm going to go to Gio's comment next. It's a good take. I have a counter to your counter, though. I'll just ask the question. Right now, let's say Pudgies and Apes are both 10 ETH for easy math. Today, they're both 10 ETH. Joey, I'll ask you first since you're on stage, and then I would love an answer from everyone in the chat, because I'm truly curious. I don't know. But this, like, the answer in my thinking through this thesis will probably determine how I play the ETH/NFT trade. if ETH runs to 10K, so call it a 4x from now, if ETH goes to 10K, what's the floor price on Pudgy Penguins and Apes? Joey, what do you think? ETH 4x's from here. Does Pudgies and Apes just stay at their USD value point and they go to from 10 ETH to 2.5 ETH? Or do you think they stay at 10 ETH and then all of a sudden it becomes a $100,000 asset again? Do you think there's a world where the floor prices could increase as ETH goes up? Thoughts?
Yeah, so I actually had this conversation back Art Basel 2022, I believe, with somebody about like if the price of ETH goes up, and this was I was talking like into the future, right? Like they were still in this whole bull run mindset of like, but I said if the price of ETH goes up from 2,000 to 4,000, I could see an NFT priced at 20 ETH dropping down to 10 ETH, right? Like I think there's a USD floor on these assets more so than a ETH floor on the assets. And we're seeing that on Bitcoin. We saw it many times on Bitcoin. I saw many ordinals that like OCM as an example, when Bitcoin went up, OCM went down. When Wizards minted, Bitcoin's up, Wizards are down, right? Like, so I think there's a plausible scenario where as ETH goes up, the price of the assets will either remain the same or go down and not continue to increase. I thought you were going to ask, would I rather have 10 ETH or a Bored Ape or a Pudgy? My answer was going to be I'd rather have 10 ETH because I think the potential for increase in value is more with ETH than it is with the NFTs. But I do think that if ETH hits 10K, I don't think Bored Apes and Pudgy stay at 10 ETH. I think they would drop, maybe not all the way down, but I think they would drop because people would look at it as a start to price things in USD, which I know people are going to say I'm crazy for saying that, but I do think that would happen.
I don't think you're crazy. I agree. I think they have a floor in USD. I think not all, but I think, and I shouldn't name any because someone will get mad because they leave someone off, but I think Punks, Apes, Pudgies, Mutants, Little Pudgies, Milady Makers, like the ones that have stuck, Azuki, Doodles before anyone gets mad. I think their floor will be looked at in USD. I think there's a floor where if they get to a certain point in USD, people will start buying because it's undervalued. On the flip side, if ETH rips to 10K, if ETH 4x from here, the amount of wealth that creates, crypto native wealth, we get back into a lot of those people would like to flex that wealth. It's much easier to do with a JPEG than it is with an ETH balance. Therefore, I do think it could. I'm trying to check myself because the levered bet wasn't the last time.
I just don't. Maybe I see that we've established some sort of price discovery with some of these NFT projects, right? Like I don't see how. And again, this is probably a hot take that people are gonna. But I don't see how if ETH goes to 10K, you could look at a Bored Ape and say it's worth $100,000 right now. Same with a Pudgy. I don't think you could look at a Pudgy and say, wow, I'm comfortable spending $100,000 on a Pudgy right now. Yeah, I know people are going to say 1 ETH is 1 ETH, but it's really not because right now 1 ETH doesn't pay my mortgage. But if 1 ETH goes to 10K, that's 2.5 months of my mortgage. So like the idea that 1 ETH is 1 ETH, I don't know if that holds true anymore. If you were to look at a Pudgy or an Ape or any of these other ones and say, oh yeah, that's $100,000 asset, I'm cool with that.
I agree for people who aren't ETH rich. I agree someone who's not in the space is not going to look at a JPEG like, oh, that's $100,000 asset. Where I would push back is I think you're underestimating the amount of people who still have thousands of ETH that they're just sitting on. And to them, they're like, one ETH is one ETH. And when their ETH bag goes from $1 million to $4 million, I do think that there's a world where, oh yeah, I can spend 10 ETH on a Bored Ape, 10 ETH on a Pudgy. I've got thousands of ETH. What's 10 ETH? Like it's you just got to put yourself back in the mind of what we saw happen in 21, 22, and things got crazy really fast. In the non-fungible world where supply is so limited, I agree. Right now, there is no demand, and it probably stays the same in USD as it is now. I agree. There's no new demand. There's no new net buyers today. But I think if ETH rips, like some of those people are going to cash out their ETH and take it to stables. They're going to off ramp it. Sure. It doesn't take that many of those ETH-rich individuals to start rotating some of it back into NFTs, to start looking for, okay, what's the beta trade on ETH? Because just right now, where there's people who aren't going to buy Bitcoin because it's 110K, and where does it go from here? Same thing will happen when ETH gets 10K. Oh, ETH is already 10K. I'm late to the trade. What's the next trade? And yeah, they might look at other tokens. They might look at Hyperliquid, Fartcoin, etc. Or they might look to these NFTs. I just think there is a world where, would I be shocked if ETH rips to 10K and Pudgies and Apes stay at their same US dollar value they are today? I wouldn't be surprised. I also would not be surprised if they rip up this in line, just because like this is it. If ETH hits 5K in the short term, I could see some JPEGs catching a bid. Like it's not going to be all, but there's this.
But wait, but if one ETH is one ETH, right? If the thesis is for the people that are ETH rich or crypto rich or whatever you want to call it, if one ETH is one ETH, why does it matter if ETH rips to 5K? Like, why would that change how they buy NFTs?
Because mentally, subconsciously, their net worth just 4x'd. They have a lot more disposable income and they want to show that off. Like,
but they don't though, because one ETH is one ETH, right? So like, again,
I'm on their screen.
I'm just asking, right? Like the thought process.
But it's one ETH is one ETH. Sure, you can say that all you want. When you look at your portfolio balance and it 4x's, your numbers on a screen,
But that one ETH still only buys you a one ETH asset though, right? Like, so it's different if like, I don't know, maybe again, maybe I'm just thinking within US dollar numbers versus ETH numbers, but like if I have, let's just say, for example, I have 1.5 ETH, right? A little Pudgy right now is about like 1.15, right? Let's say I have 1.5 ETH and 1.5 ETH and ETH rips to 10K. I can still only afford one little Pudgy, even at ETH at 10K. So how does that change the thesis of, oh, now ETH is worth so much more, so I should buy more NFTs?
I think it's because you're not sitting on thousands of ETH. I just think mentally, psychologically, it is a massive difference. I speak from personal, like from last cycle. I bought a lot of stupid shit. I wouldn't think about buying today. But the reason I bought a lot of stupid shit is I was sitting on a ton of magical internet money. And yes, was I speculating? Sure. But when the numbers on the screen go up so quickly, like, oh, well, why would I stop speculating? This is working. It creates a flywheel that people pour into the ecosystem. And I think it just comes back to, it's simple economics. It's supply demand. Most of these collections are about 10,000 or less. And I still like, are we ever going to have the crazy mania that we did in 2021? I do not think that ever comes back to NFTs. But what I do think is there is still a lot of people that believe in NFTs. There's a lot of wealth in this ecosystem. And while I don't think we're going to have 10,000 new collections minting a month, I think the top dozen collections. Joey's playing around muting people.
I was trying to add Star Boss and I accidentally hit the mute thing. I'm sorry.
All good. All good. I think that I lost my train of thought. But I just think that the more it's a momentum play, right? There's a lot of people that still believe in the space. They are active in the space, and maybe some still hold some NFTs, but they're not trading NFTs, they're not flipping NFTs. I think if we really see ETH-rich, let's forget 10K for a second. If we'll use fun example, if it goes, from now until Q3, Q4, it rips to 5K. I understand what you're saying, 1 ETH equals 1 ETH, but there's, I don't know, 100,000 people in this space that just saw their ETH balance double. And I don't think the ETH NFT floors will catch up as quick. I actually think Von Frutton is right here. When ETH rips, when it goes from 2,500 to 5K, people will probably start capitulating, selling their NFTs because I don't want to miss this rip. Therefore, lowering the price of NFTs. And then once it plateaus, I think you will see some of that rotate back into NFTs, and then the ETH NFT price comes back to where it was, and then the USD price is double or triple or quadruple where it is today. It probably is not going to play out exactly like that. I'm not.
I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense, though.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. So to answer your earlier question, go ahead.
I was going to ask you. So if you bought a Pudgy for 10 ETH, right, and that floor drops to 8 ETH, versus I own 1 ETH and it goes from 10K to 8K, right? Like, which one in this scenario, which one scares you more? The fluctuation of NFTs quickly dropping by multiple ETH, or you holding 1 ETH and it drops $1,000 or $2,000, right? Like, I guess that's where my brain goes, and that's why I'm struggling with the whole more people buying NFTs when ETH goes up in price. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, in those examples you just gave, neither of those things scare me, man. I'm numb to this shit at this point. So, I don't like. I understand what you're saying. I don't.
I think I'm just too USD brained. I think that's my problem, because when I look at like an NFT, like if I look at a Pudgy for 10 ETH and it drops by 1 ETH, I go, fuck, I just lost $2,500. I didn't lose 1 ETH. I lost, and that's my problem personally, is I look at all of this in USD, and maybe you're right, I'm not crypto rich. I mean, I have a sizable bag, but like, I'm not like probably like you're saying, other people out here that are sitting on hundreds, if not thousands of ETH, where like, oh, 1 ETH, no big deal. And I think that's where I struggle in this conversation, is everything I look at it in USD. And I probably have to stop doing that in order to better understand the other position.
Yeah, I mean, you could be right too. Like, maybe that is the proper way to do it, is just value your JPEGs in USD. I just think that we've seen this play out before, and hey, ETH's got to rip first for this even to come into play. But Geo's counter here says, I think you're trying to say stablecoin usage increases the institutions who want to stake their largest proof of stake security layer, which is Ethereum. Yes, absolutely. The counter would be Tether dwarfs other stables and has plasma coming. Agreed. I do not see US institutions going the Tether / plasma route. Maybe they do, but I think most of the major ones will do exactly what you just said here. They want to stake in the largest proof of stake security layer, which is Ethereum. I also think that USDC is more US centric than USDT, which is very Asian centric. And again, I could be really wrong there. I think a lot of these institutions will go the L2 route, will go, if they spin up their own L2 on ETH, then they're buying ETH. They're not going to buy, they're not going to go the other route. But again, Tether certainly does dwarf it today. I think, and I also think we'll see I actually think both Tether and USDC both lose market share to new stables coming along. Let's do this real quick. I want to get in a market update here. We're approaching 9 o'clock. And actually, you know what? I take that back. Star Boss, thanks for jumping up on stage. Joey, I'm going to do this. We're going to bring Star Boss on GM. Take it wherever you'd like. And then if Star Boss wraps and I'm not back yet, take it wherever you'd like. Give me like.
Yeah, real quick before she goes, do you think that the reason why USDT dwarfs USDC is just because it's 4 years older? Is that?
I've never actually looked into why there's the discrepancy there. Good question. I would need to do some research, but yeah, age would make sense.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Star Boss.
GM.
Hey, good morning. Happy 4th of July, everyone who's celebrating the fireworks day. Appreciate you all. Thanks for having me up. You know, this is a very interesting and complex question because, you know, we have the thought process of the stock market. We have the thought process of holding, you know, USD and having that. And then we have the crypto market, and then we have an art collection market, and we kind of look at all those in different ways. And we, you know, we're also trying to create value and increase our portfolios and things like that. And, you know, price go up, price go down. And with NFTs, it's like it is a token that represents a bag of rights, and that also happens to be really great artwork. And if it comes with an awesome community, that makes it even better because it can hold up the floor price, and you know, you could do market manipulation and all those kinds of things, even though we don't really want to call it that. I mean, it pretty much is that, at least for that token or that bag of rights and that community. And you have the right to be able to hold up your bag, right? Like, you know, the Apes community or penguins, and then develop and, you know, grow that community. And, you know, people have been able to successfully do that from the, you know, into Web 2, from, you know, quote unquote, you know, Web 3. You know, we're at like a 2.5 right now. We're not quite all the way there with the Web 3 point.
I'm kidding.
What's that?
I said 2.66. I was kidding.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, right, exactly. But we know we're not quite there yet, but we're on our way. But I think we, you know, as human beings, we get excuse me, the notions a little confused because they're different markets. We know that there's traditional behaviors in those different markets, and we're trying to merge those. And how do you merge those with value, where if you invest in a crypto coin or tethered or even an NFT that represents a bag of rights, that is a visual token, how do you make that hold value? And they don't act in the same in most cases, but do they mirror each other, or maybe twin? In some cases they do. And I guess the holder would have to make a decision on whether they're gonna, you know, actually realize their gains, which means sell your asset, or you ride it out, and it might go up and it might go down in value. And those are the risks factors. And if you're not risk tolerant, those things are going to be very difficult for you to be able to understand that they're different behaviors and different market shares. But, you know, at the end of the day, you got to make sure you can pay your rent, you know, so.
Yeah, for sure. Good take. I think, is my audio okay? Something happened. Something changed on my end.
No, you're good. But Star Boss didn't tell us if she thinks ETH is going to 10K or not.
I think at some point it will, but I don't know if it will hold, because it's all going to be around adoption, and there's going to be so many other tokens flooding the market. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the OGs, but you know, I don't know. You know, I mean, they're all deflationary, right? They're all gonna they're gonna become more rare, right, in time, because they burn or they disappear or they end up just sitting and being dormant, or, you know, end up in a trash pile somewhere in somebody's CPU. So at some point it will, but will it maintain or hold, or will it crash and burn? Some of them probably will, but I think I'm a ETH maxi. That's where I onboarded into crypto. So, you know, I like ETH. That's kind of where I sit, and I've wasted a lot of money in NFTs in the ETH market. So I don't know. I mean, I stopped buying them a couple years ago just because not many of them can be successful. So it's like a big giant Kickstarter, in my opinion. But will it go up? I think so, yes, eventually.
Well, I think one thing you said there, as far as like a giant Kickstarter, I think that's the other thing we're not factoring in is, yeah, NFT could be art, it could be access, the ones we've mentioned, all the above. What we haven't factored in yet is they can do more as well. And where I'm going with this is like the rec drinks model. Like those NFTs could be it could lead to gifted equity. It could be like I think there's other things they can unlock with the NFTs where that stuff is much more likely to pump an NFT floor price when the market is ripping. When ETH is ripping and people feel ETH-rich again, their numbers on the screen go up, and then there's a big announcement. I think it creates more motion, and I'm prepared to be entirely wrong here. For all I know, ETH could be $1,500 next week, or it does actually have a magnet at 2,500, and we never see it break, one way or the other. But my spidey senses are going off. I think that the Bitmine Industries is the first of probably several, if not many others, to follow suit, and it's hard to see that not leading to positive value accrual for the ETH underlying token. Let's do this. Let's get into a quick market update. We got Manny coming up on stage as well here in a second, and we will continue the conversation in just a minute. But let's look at the market here. This is our daily market update brought to you by ApeChain. ApeChain on top, the home of NFTs. I'll be right back.
The daily market update straight to your brain. Powered by ApeCoin, no hype, just gains. Moving on ApeChain, we bringing the heat. NFTs, fence alpha, never miss a beat. ApeChain on top, now we bringing the flex. The home of NFTs, things now what's next. Come on, my head top, bloody body time, and chop for one time.
Kind of a down day in majors anyways. We will start, let's go down to the bottom. We'll start with our majors here. We've got Bitcoin 109,060, down 1% after hitting that 110 mark. ETH still holding on to 2,500, 2,553 down 1% on the day. XRP down 3%. Solana at 150, also down 3%. Doge down to 16 cents, and Cardano down to 58 cents. Looking at memes, red day pretty much across the board, although I have to go check my favorite meme now. Fartcoin is up 17%, 18% on the day. The winners are very clearly showing themselves. I got to show you the chart just because it's pretty. There you go. Fartcoin up 18%. Oh, that's the 7-day. I was wrong. I'm kidding. I didn't think that seemed right. Yeah, it is down 3% on the day. That seems more like it. Still, though, not the usually it's the biggest loser when things lose. So down 4% on the day here. I missed it at the bottom. Bonk down 1%. Bonk guy continues to dominate the cycle, though. Trump down 2%. Pepe down 6%. Sheeb down 3%. Doge down 4%. One I shared in the war room that we've not talked about on the show is IMF, the International Meme Fund. Clouded and a few others started this a while back, and it allows basically to tap into liquidity of your meme coins. I just saw they became like the largest holder of MOG, the fund that is, the largest holder of Joe. I don't know what that is, and the fourth largest holder of Pepe. And their token has just ripped. Speaking about like logging in and seeing account balance go up, I actually, it was one where you minted an NFT and then you could claim the token. And once I claimed the token, it was up. So I sold my initials to basically cover the cost of my NFT. Regretting that now as the token has continued to rip up as they really built what appears to be a really interesting DeFi protocol to leverage memes. Maybe we'll get Clouded on here on the show in the future and do a little deeper dive. Up to NFTs though, unless anyone else caught a runner yesterday, let me know. The runner was probably Soham, the guy with a dozen jobs. I'm guessing that is sold off after his round of interviews yesterday. But looking at NFTs here, our beloved NFTs are all red across the board. We've got Project Aeon, which is the Maraud's tied to SPX 6900, down 6% of the day. Little Pudgy's down 1%. Mutants are flat at 1.71. Milady's down 3%. Larva Lads, the OpenSea farm is over, I guess, because they're down 24% on the day as people sell off. Pudgy's flat at 9.6. Chubbit Official, I don't know what this is. It is I don't know. No offers, a lot of volume, but anyone knows what that is? Let me know. It looks like, I mean, based on the bunnies, I wonder if it's a mega ETH play. I don't know. DX Terminal, that's another OpenSea farm. Bored Apes down 2% to 10.6. Punks flat at 42.99. If anyone knows what this Chubbit official collection is at 1.8, 80. It doesn't even make sense. 84 ETH in volume on 3 sales. I wouldn't. I'd stay far away from that based on the quick sniff test. But that's our daily market update brought to you by ApeChain. ApeChain on top of some exciting stuff. I teased it earlier. We got some exciting stuff kicking off next week. We get C back in the saddle here and a move. Got some new campaigns with that group. Excited to share with y'all. Looks like we keep losing our Manny. We lost you there. If you want to take a lap and come back up, we'll bring you back up here. But the train of thought lost me again. The hype, that was the last one. Sorry, I knew I had something else I wanted to check on today that's not on my report. Hyperliquid down 3% as well. So pretty much a red day across the board. All our favorites dipping a little bit. Although $38 hype was, I think, what I bought last time. Good time to get in the hype trade if you are if you're looking to get some exposure there. I think it's another one that's a clear winner of the cycle, and that's kind of where I said I'm risk on, but I'm feeling like things are really about ready to send, and I may start levering up cautiously, gradually, and back to Joey's initial question, what am I going to sell to buy ETH? I think it's maybe twofold. I may sell some NFTs. I may also get back into the NFT-fi game and see if I can do some trading on that front.
I mean, lending. We haven't talked about since the launch of a bunch of lending protocols. We haven't really talked about lending and the opportunity there. I mean, if you have enough ETH right now, it would make sense to get back into lending to help you start like a very low risk way to stack more ETH would be doing some lending.
Yeah, it is low risk, but you just need to make sure you know what you're getting into, because you very well could get stuck with that NFT that is no longer worth what you lent on it. Shout out Diablito in the abstract chat, said grind holding strong. I just checked the chart. It's back up to 4 million, up 2.5% on the day, which on a red day, that's something. So congrats to the grind.
Yeah, how much grind did you get?
None.
I got $8.
Yeah, I didn't even check. I didn't do I didn't farm it. I didn't even get this. I attempted to go download a Slingshot wallet twice, and both times my Apple ID password was not saved in my phone. I didn't want to reset it, making excuses here, but I just never downloaded the app. I never did any. Actually, I played one of the games on Abstract that was supposed to give me some allocation, but I saw everyone claiming like $5, $12. I just never did it. Considering picking up a small bag to trade it now. Yeah, Bunch. I'm mad, actually. I'm mad at Bunch You. Do you know why I'm mad at Bunch You, Joey? You're muted.
I don't know why. What happened?
Billy is ripping. It's up 45% since
I full ported all my meme coin dust into Billy like 2 days ago.
I'm not mad at Bunch You. I'm kidding, but I like a week, like when Billy was it was half what it is now. I not full ported, but I moved 4 figures over to my Billy account and stabled it. I don't know what it was. It might have been fucking ETH. I stabled, actually, now that I'm saying this. It's a double whammy, and moved $1,000 over to Billy for a sports betting account. So I have $1,000 sitting in stables. I even told Bunch You, I'm like, now I'm getting FOMO because I'm betting smart. I'm only betting, 2% unit. So, at $1,000, it's like $20 bets. And I told him, like, I've got all this stables just sitting there. And like, I wanted to keep it because I wanted to do the 1K challenge. And so I've left it there. But this whole time I'm super bullish on Billy, and I have Billy exposure. But in hindsight, I should have just full ported instead of my gambling balance, I should have just kept, $100 in play and ported the rest into Billy, and I'd be up bigly right now. So I kid, I'm excited. My Billy bag is up, and it is absolutely on a heater right now. So congrats on the news. The announcement's very well received. If you missed yesterday's show, we had Bunch on and did a kind of a deeper dive into the new updates, the new roadmap, 60 days out. They're moving over to base, launching a rewards program. And all I'm going to say, Bunch, I better get some rewards for that USDC that's on there unstaked. I kid, but not really. Mar jumped up on stage here. Mar, GM, what brought you up today?
Hey, Captain. Good morning, man. Happy 4th of July. Morning to everyone.
You as well.
Yeah, one thing I did want to say, and again, this is my opinion. For me, crypto and blockchain, it's more for me like I want to say like financial system. It's not even Bitcoin to me or ETH. It's not a currency at all. Maybe in the future, who knows? For me, the currency is the dollar, or if you want to say, the stable coins. So when I look at ETH or Bitcoin, I look at the value. I don't look at it like one Bitcoin or one ETH. I look at the value, what it's worth, because I might get out of ETH and buy another cryptocurrency, or I might just get out and buy, I don't know, property, land, whatever it is, So yeah, I know there's a lot of people that always say, "Oh, one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin." Nah, one Bitcoin for me, it's whatever the Bitcoin is worth in the dollar value, And
so I hear you, but I got to push back a little bit, because it's not like, I understand what you're saying, and it's probably a good way to view it. But the dollar is going like this. This is facts. Like the dollar, take any time frame, the dollar is losing value. Bitcoin, since its inception, has went like this. Now, does it go like this a little bit? Yes, but if you zoom out, Bitcoin's like this, the dollar's like this. So I hear you. I just think it's very important to, some people might hear that and be like, "Oh, I've got $10,000. I'm going to spend this $10,000 eventually. It's like my savings account. I'm going to keep it in US dollars as opposed to Bitcoin." Don't do that. Like if you like, "Oh, I want to buy a house in 5 years is my plan." Well, do your own research. This is not financial advice, but if the trends continue 5 years from now, if you keep that $10,000 in your bank account earning 1%, 2%, 3% interest, it might become $10,500, but your buying power might be $8,500. Where I don't see, fast forward 5 years, I don't see Bitcoin being worth less than it is today. So as a store of value, it's not a dollar. It's not like, I'm not explaining what I'm trying to do well. Like I hear you.
No, I get you. I get you. One thing I did want to say real quick, where the gentleman was talking about the NFTs. One NFT is worth one ETH. Look, I'm not a big NFT guy, even though it's funny that an NFT project was the one that got me out of the hole where I was, like deep in the hole, like back in 22. But I seen NFTs that are worth one ETH, and then ETH goes up crazy. But this NFT now is they lower the price and they put it at half an ETH. You get what I'm saying? Because ETH is worth so much that people are not willing to pay not one ETH for that NFT. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, yes. That's like to Joey's counter, the argument that these NFTs will be priced in USD. You could be right.
Wait, Cap, real quick. I do think there's specific ones. Like we always talk about Rect, where I think Rect is one of those type of NFTs where, because it's tied to essentially the success of the Rect brand and like how you earn your rewards, I think that's one that you might see where the price stays in USD. Now, collectibles are different. Like, here's the other thing too, and Joe made this point in the war room the other day about like how we lump NFTs all into like one category. We have a lot of different kinds of NFTs. We have collectible NFTs. We have equity NFTs now. So I think when we talk about the price of an NFT, and its relation to USD and ETH, we also have to make sure we're talking about, is it a PFP NFT? Is it a collectible? Is it a equity NFT? Is it, you know, something, an asset, a gaming asset, like with other side? Like, so there's different types of NFTs, and how they react to the price fluctuation is going to be different based on what that asset is too.
Yes. Here's what I don't think anyone has really talked about yet. This isn't just, it's just not just NFTs. It, like, my thesis for ETH to 10K is bull market driven. It's money printer go on, $5 trillion get pumped into the market. It's going to get spent. And when money printer goes burr, it's not just ETH and Bitcoin might go up. It's not just, it's, you said collectibles. I'm looking for I haven't looked, so I'm doing this blind, and maybe I'm going to get proven wrong here, but I'm looking for a chart of the Michael Jordan rookie card, because I'm guessing.
Oh, you don't have to guess the price. I can tell you right now that somebody who lives in the collectible space, like you look at like someone who bought like a T206 Honus Wagner for $100,000, right? And but this is actually a good example, right? Like $100,000 buying power for somebody in like the 1970s who bought that T206 that's now worth $1 million, right? Like you have to look at like what was the buying power, and this might be a really good example because of, again, buying power with ETH. It might be relevant to this conversation when you look at buying something in the 1970s for 100 grand, and now in 2025 it's worth $1 million.
Yeah, and when money printer goes burr, when there's more money in the money supply, the global monetary supply, it's collectibles, luxury goods, Veblen goods, they all go like this. This isn't the best chart, so I don't know how it's going to translate here, but you can get the point if I point out some points on the chart. Michael Jordan rookie card, PSA 10 selling for nearly $400,000 in October 21. And it kind of, did it dip a little bit? Yeah. But you're still even like into 2022, $350,000. Again, this is when NFTs were going like this. It was the entire collectibles market. It was Michael Jordan rookie cards. It was Rolexes. It's funny, I haven't done it recently, but for a while, if you laid the Bored Ape Yacht Club chart and you overlaid the Rolex price chart, it was eerily similar. Not the exact prices, but how the chart went. Yes, Bored Apes hit 150 ETH and they're down 90% from that. So are a lot of Veblen goods and a lot of luxury collectibles, because we went from a bull market, a raging bull with free money, stimmy checks, etc., to a bear market. And during the bear, this whole entire time, for years, the Michael Jordan rookie cards traded at under $200,000. For as bullish as I am on ETH to 10K, now I'm not going to go buy a PS10 Michael Jordan rookie card. It'd be cool, but I don't have $200,000 laying around to go buy a collectible. I'm near certain that if ETH hits 10K, the Michael Jordan rookie card goes back to 300 or 400K as well. The Rolexes are going to go back up. Like, it's not just a crypto thing. It's a disposable money thing. And when money printer gets turned on like this, assets just, they moon from collectibles to watches and everything in between. Maybe not everything in between, but this is, I believe, a very good example of how assets can perform when markets really start going burr. And it seems like with this big, beautiful, ugly bill passing, we're on the brink of that. No?
But I think it's also, to your point, it's also where people perceive they can store their value too. Like in 2021, people in the crypto space thought the best stored value was buying a CryptoPunk, buying a Bored Ape, where people in the traditional world, when the money printer goes on, they look at buying things like Rolexes and art, trad art, and collectibles, because the way they've performed over time, they look at it like, oh, I just got a bunch of free money. Where can I park that money that's safe, that I know in 5-10 years it's going to be worth more? And a Michael Jordan, let's be honest, a Michael Jordan rookie card is not going down in value. Now, if Michael Jordan somehow gets convicted of murder or something crazy, could the value of his rookie card go down? Yes, but more than likely, Michael Jordan's rookie card is only going to continue to go up in value. So to your point, when you had the stored value question, when you mentioned stored value in NFTs, do people really believe, after what we've seen, that NFTs are the right place to store value?
It depends on what your goals are. Like, if you just want your money to be conservative and be a true store of value, then I'd say put it in Bitcoin. If you're looking for more asymmetric returns, these sort of assets, I think, are the ones that are primed to moon. When do you, like, without looking, I'm giving you a hint here, but without looking, when do you think was the all-time high for Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs? Joey, any guesses?
All-time high. What's
the month? Just the month and year.
Say that again.
The month and year that Bored Ape Yacht Club hit their all-time high, 152 ETH. What month and year was it?
I would say December 2021.
Nope. Anyone that's on video has a hint, has an edge on this question. Starboss, any guesses what month and year Bored Ape Yacht Club hit their all-time high?
Man, I was just trying to think, because it got pretty spicy there when when crypto was ripping pretty hard, and there was a lot of confidence, and it was people, we were bored, we didn't have a lot to do. I'm guessing maybe even earlier than that.
Nope.
I would say yeah, but I mean, I'm guessing earlier than that, because I was around watching it, and it was out of control.
Good guess.
So I can't guess a month. I got shit for a memory, but I'm guessing it's before that.
Nope. So anyone in the YouTube chat want to take a guess when the all-time high for Bored Ape Yacht Club was? It may or may not be related to the chart I'm showing on the screen. This is the Rolex price chart, by the way. I should share that a little bit. This is
when they rolled out the codas, when they first rolled out the codas and all that, like
not exactly. Now this does time up.
Okay.
Does time up kind of near other side mint, but that wasn't it. It was, yeah, that added to it, but that wasn't. Actually, I believe the actual exact day of the Pico top was when Elon tweeted, I don't know, seems kind of fungible to me, or something to that effect, and he changes PFP to a bunch of Bored Apes for a day. Kid you not, that in real life chat that I just referenced, and I'm now beating the ETH to 10K narrative there after I've been a Bitcoin bull all this bear. One of my friends in there, not in crypto, not in NFTs, when he saw that Elon tweet, he's like, oh, that has to be the top, right? And God damn it, he called the exact goddamn top. Anyways, I digress. This chart I'm showing, the Rolex chart, Rolex peaked March 14th, 2022. Bored Ape Yacht Club peaked a couple weeks later in April of 2022. This, if you're not looking at this chart, Rolexes were going for in August of 2020 around 17 grand. By March of 2022, they'd almost doubled to nearly 30 grand. And then almost the exact same time Bored Apes topped, Rolex is top. You can see now they've continued to dip down, and they've been basically 20K for the last year plus.
Capital, real quick, have you ever heard of an individual called Reef Collins?
No.
He actually, this is for Joey. So this is he actually coded Tether, him and his team, and they were the first individuals actually that forgot what year it was, that they actually coded and built the first NFT platform. Which when they did that, they weren't even calling it NFT at that time, you know. And their main marketing and how they try to make NFT popular was through physical items and event tickets and properties and stuff like that. And it blew up in their face where like, oh shit, this is not working because the JPEG went nuts, So that's where I think NFTs could hold value. If an NFT is attached to maybe a Michael Jordan card in the future, or any of these items that tend to grow in value,
maybe appreciate. Let me. If you don't mind in the future, just use a hand. Let me finish my thought here, and if you want to get into the conversation, just throw up your hand, and we'll get to you as soon as we can. But what I was going to say is this Rolex chart, just like the Michael Jordan chart, it's not going to stay here if we get. I mean, I guess Trump still has to sign the bill. He's expected to sign that by 4 p.m. tonight. $5 trillion is going to come in the market. Repeat that again. $5 trillion extra dollars is going to come into the market one way or another. Like it may take a little bit of time, but markets are going to pump. Like it's hard to see $5 trillion extra dollars get created and not send some of these risk on assets, some of these luxury goods, some of these Veblen goods. And as this Rolex chart starts to run again, the Michael Jordan chart is going to run again. NFT collectibles will start to run again. Some, not all. Will it be some that are tied to a physical item? Yeah, go check out BZ. Will it be some that are just purely digital? Yeah, absolutely. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, there maybe some people want it tied to a physical item. RWAs are going to become a very real thing. But the point is, Rolexes are Veblen good. Michael Jordan rookie cards, a collectible. Bored Ape Yacht Club, Pudgy Penguins, they're collectibles plus. And there's people here, it may not be you, but there's people here that like collecting these digital artifacts because they've been around for decades. They saw the Michael Jordan rookie card go like this. And over time, if you zoom out, it goes like this for perpetuity. There's people that believe, look, talk to Punk 6529 in the memes collection. Like they believe these digital collectibles will follow similar trends as physical collectibles did over time. It just doesn't, nothing is up only. And for all intents and purposes, we've been down only since 2022 when things peaked last time. Maybe it doesn't play out like this. I believe replace this chart with any other, not any, but a lot of other collectibles, risk on assets where demand is there, exists, supply is limited. I think we're going to see a lot of similar charts like this over the next 6 to 12 months. I don't know which ones, but I think you want to win and benefit off this big, beautiful bill. Like if you need to make up your gambling tax bill now, or you're not sports betting or playing DFS for your side hustle, study assets that might see a similar trajectory like this. Like it's just, I'm not saying we're going to get stimmy checks and things don't always play out exactly the same, but man, it feels like this bill passing gets signed today. I don't see the next 12 months playing out where some, if not a lot of these similar type of assets start going up and to the right. To win though, you got to figure out which ones they're going to be. But here's another good prediction. RWAs and gaming NFTs lead the next NFT runs at prices far lower than the previous NFT run. I agree wholeheartedly. And so let me give you a scenario. Other side, supposed to go live, persistent somewhat anyways this month. If it's a hit, if gaming NFTs are a hit, someone comes in and they're a great gamer, they start playing other side, and I don't know, they run up $100,000, they run up $1 million. Some of them may just cash out and not do anything. I think Mongrel's an example of someone who came in the last time there was a big Dookie Dash, came in and made millions of dollars playing games, selling those NFTs. I don't know if he collected a lot of NFTs, stayed in the space, at least adjacent to it. He just did an interview with OpenSea recently. That scales. Gaming, RWAs, and by default, as more stable coins come on chain, you get so many more people who are just so much closer to this. And I think mindsets should start to shift. Everyone out there who's still collecting physical cardboard, they're going to start realizing there's better ways to do it. And maybe they don't want to go all digital, but they'll their banks start doing stable coins. They start getting more on-chain curious. Then they find Beezy and they're like, oh my God, this is a way better way to collect cardboard than what I've been doing for years. That sort of stuff, the things that we can do today from the tech standpoint, light years ahead of where we were in 2021, 22. Light years, like truly light years ahead. Forget all the L2s, forget the lower gas, simply something like Privy that powers these wallets like Glyph and Abstract Global Wallet. Just that in itself has reduced an immense amount of friction for your Michael Jordan card collector who didn't get into crypto because it's just too confusing. That shit's gone. But the people who might have explored it or put one foot in 2021, like, oh, this just isn't for me, they've been paying attention. They don't know this stuff exists. They don't know the industry has moved forward leaps and bounds from a tech standpoint during the bear market. And I think once that word starts to get out, it's not going to be because people are going to come in rushing in to buy $100,000 JPEGs. It's this sort of stuff. They'll get introduced to crypto by way of gaming, by way of NFTs, by way of stable coins. And then now all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm a collector. I'm risk on now. I just bought my Michael Jordan rookie card. Where else might I dabble? Joey, go ahead and get back in here.
Yeah, I mean, you've also got, which we don't talk about often here, is PayPal has a stable coin now. You can literally buy, sell, buy and transfer crypto in Venmo. Like there's all of these, websites or apps that have existed that made traditional finance so much easier. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, right? Like they're slowly starting to adopt and make available crypto. So, there's going to come a time where if you want to, again, purchase something on chain with PayPal, you won't even have to do anything. It'll just transfer from USD to PayPal stable, and you're now shopping on the blockchain, and you didn't have to do anything. And for those that don't know, Privy was just acquired by, oh no, I just forgot. Who were they just acquired by, Cap?
Stripe,
right? So think about that. Like one of the largest payment processing services just acquired Privy. How much, for those that haven't used a Beezy or a Billy Bets or any of these newer platforms, or you've used Global Wallet, right? If you're on Abstract, all you need is an email address, and a wallet gets created for you, and you can use a credit card, you can use a debit card, you can, it's so much simpler, and it's only going to continue to get simpler. And I do agree with that sentiment of the new bull run for NFTs is not going to be high priced NFTs. It's going to be affordable NFTs. It's going to be tickets to concerts for $100. It's going to be buying a collectible for $25, a gaming asset for $25, right? Like what started to make all of these companies, gaming companies, major money was microtransactions, right? When they realized we can't just pump out a game once a year for $60 and make a lot of money, they realized, how do we convince people to spend $5 every day or $30 a month? So I think that's what we're going to see here in NFT land, is all of these kind of microtransactions are what's going to pump, NFT usage, because it's going to be affordable to the general public, and the onboarding is going to be so simple.
Yeah, I agree. I see we had Andrew back on stage. Andrew, we'll get to you in a second. Apologies, we didn't get you earlier. I do want to share. We hit yesterday, a new winning streak started on Cap's Clutch Market Parlay of the day. The Marlins and Rockies came through. The underdog Rockies took them down 7-6 to hit that. So 51.38 going to a lucky listener this morning, someone who retweeted the space, the audio space, the Twitter audio space. It's pinned up top. It's the second one all the way to the right. The second from the right, it just says x.com/i/spaces. Someone who, I mean to mute everyone, someone who retweets that space is going to take home, get a cash out this parlay today. And the win streak continues. We're going to fire through the weekend, feeling a hot streak heating up once again.
Cap, what was the so 51.30? What was the bet to earn that?
10-8. It was a 5.13 payout.
So about $5. No, what's Ape at right now? Like 70 cents?
Yeah.
So $7, and you turn that $7 into 51.
Well, it's 51 Ape. 51 Ape is
51 Ape. Okay.
About $25, a little more, $30.
It's not bad. It's like a 4x.
Yeah,
not a bad day.
5.13 to be exact. Yep. Again, get your if you have not checked out Clutch Markets at ape.clutchmarket. And what we found out yesterday from Bunchu is prediction markets not applicable to the upcoming ridiculous unfair tax coming out of this big beautiful bill for the sports bettors out there. So Clutch Markets, Billy Bets, Polymarket, that's where you're going to shift your volume as we head into 2026. But Andrew, welcome back to the stage. GM, sorry we didn't get you earlier. Feel free to take it wherever you like, whether it's something we were hitting on earlier or whatever brought you up this last time. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, guys. The stablecoin ETH to 10K thing is crazy. I don't know if ETH goes there ever, to be honest. Unpopular opinion. It may not. I don't know. Solana of this cycle with memes is what ETH was with NFTs, 2-3 years ago. Hence, kind of the price action in order to operate on that chain to buy those products. You had to buy ETH, Solana, all that stuff. We don't have to kind of reciprocate that. The only thing that I'm concerned of, a little bit worried of, Cap, is what I asked you the question about an hour ago. About an hour ago-ish now, where like the market is being purchased massively on leverage. Is there like a leverage bubble that's occurring right now in real time for these assets that are being bankrolled by some of the biggest corporations, VC funds, companies, publicly traded companies, even at that? Sailor included on that. Is there a bubble that can get popped for this? Eventually, I think this bubble of leverage will pop. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I think it will. Like, just from a market perspective, when the NFT when the NFT market was leveraged up through Blur, for a period of time, we kind of saw what happened there. Everything kind of cascaded downwards. And I think the same thing is very possible for like BTC and ETH and some of these other assets. Spot buying is always fucking better, of course, but I don't know when that'll happen. But I think it's almost inevitable, to be honest. But I think we do enjoy the run up. I would just say, just don't be an idiot and assume that this can't happen, because it's corporations. That's who you should be kind of worried about if this happens too.
So I agree. Yes, there is risk for a bubble. Yes, especially when they're levering up to buy their Bitcoin or ETH. If number goes the other direction, it could end bad. I'm not as concerned with institutions levering up as I am individuals, but my understanding is that's not what Bitmine is doing. They did a private placement to raise equity capital, not debt or margin borrowing. Like Sailor, my understanding is mostly doing it on convertible notes and debt. They just did a private placement, so they just sold stock. So they're just going to buy $250 million of ETH, not levered up. They're just buying spot ETH. So, you go two routes. One is the margin strategy. The other is equity funded. The way Bitmine is doing it is far less risky than, say, Strategy, who is doing it on leverage. But to your point, yes, they're absolutely I think it's the biggest risk of the cycle is Strategy, is the Sailor bubble. If he goes, I don't want to say it, I don't see it happening. Anything's possible. Like, I didn't foresee FTX going bust until things came out that we didn't know about that organization. But it would take a lot. Like, I know people say, Sailor's liquidation price is 71K or something. There's just way too much at stake for them to get liquidated if Bitcoin drops to 70K. Now, if Bitcoin drops to 30K, maybe they can't raise funds fast enough. But if Bitcoin drops to 70K, he's not just going to say, "Oh, well, we tried." He's going to go out, raise more money, and buy and lower his liquidation point. He's sophisticated enough. Like, yeah, we see people get wiped out with leverage all the time in this video. $250 million got wiped out in crypto yesterday. I think that's very different from people moving their leverage throttle up to 100x on or 5x on Hyperliquid than it is Sailor going out and raising debt, raising funds by convertible notes. So I hear you. I agree. But one thing you said that I want to challenge you, or I want to push back on, or question rather. You said memes, Solana and memes are the trade this cycle, is like ETH and NFTs were last cycle. I think they were. I think it absolutely was during the bear / first part of this bull. Do you like? I mean, numbers would say it's going the other direction. The trenches are kind of cooked. Memes are still performing well, but like Pump Fun, I haven't looked recently. Like for a while, there's like one graduating a day or one going over $1 million. Like just way off from where it was at its Pico top. Do you think that comes back, or do you think the Solana meme already had its run this cycle, and there's going to be something next for the actual bull market?
Yeah, Cap. It's the meme Solana thing was the previous. We already kind of like went through that to an extent. You might have flashes of that the way that we've had flashes of NFTs running. You know, obviously Pudgy was an example. BAYC back to 20 ETH over 100 Gs. That was another example. You'll have flashes of this, but I think for the most part, it's probably dying down. So to speak. Does it happen again next cycle or this cycle, or however you want to frame that? Probably. Just don't know where, with what niche, on what chain, with what sector. Who knows? It literally, potentially, it could be Bitcoin. We have like the L2s on there. We have no idea where it's going to happen. I don't even think there's a way to actually like properly track this. Even if you were to go kind of use like developer reports, it's hard to do that too in terms of activity. I don't think there's direct correlation. There could be, but I don't think there is. So it's kind of hard to track this. But that's kind of in the past, so to speak. But you will see flashes moving forward. When it comes to, I guess, like the IPO stuff we mentioned before, one thing that I'm not in favor of for the obvious reasons, and like some of these IPOs, some of these public traded companies on the NASDAQ and vice versa, they are buying tokens that are separate to Bitcoin, putting them in the treasury, and they're buying them in large amounts. The stocks of those companies currently ran up. I think that's a terrible decision to do that long term. Now, it might pay off for the next 2-3 months if alts in Q4 after the summer, does its thing. But like long term, companies to be betting, their treasury, leveraging their treasury on like altcoins. Like specifically, I think there was a couple. I think like FET was one, and there might be another one. There was 2 of them that got reported a couple weeks back. Not a good decision, in my opinion. We'll see how this pans out, though. I think people that are doing this, those companies, obviously they make a lot more money than you and I do, because they're probably been in business a lot longer. But at the same time, I don't think they understand the crypto market the way that like we do, and how these things work. And like I don't know if any of those tokens have actual buyers other than the team buying back their own stuff, which inevitably comes to an end at some point, as we've already seen.
Yeah, I think fair. I do think we're going to see a lot more of it. I think some are going to have similar results as we saw with Bitmine, and the market loves it. I also think we're going to see some that aren't as well received, and we'll probably see some that lever up and go bust. And then I don't think it's going to be like I personally, I believe strategy is probably safe. I think Bitmine is probably safe, but every one we get like one step further away, or one step closer to risk, or that liquidation bubble, if you will. Starboss, go ahead and get back in here.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I appreciate what you were saying.
I lost you. I don't know if you got a call or.
I lost her too.
Yep, she went dark.
Oh, we lost her. Maybe take a lap if you are you there? Nope. Back to listener. So yeah, if you want to, you can try to request back up. You might need to take a lap, like leave the room, come back, and we'll request up, and we'll get you back up here. I'm thoroughly enjoying the Solomon and Von Frunten battle in the YouTube streets. If you're not over there, these two are really gunning for the king of YouTube. Solomon maybe even bowing down, saying "All hail King Von." There was question. Geo in the chat was saying like a lot of people nailed the Bored Ape Yacht Club top. It was April 22. ApeCoin launched in March 22. other side minted April 30th, the end of April, and the Bored Ape Yacht Club Pico Top was between those two events, between ApeCoin minting or ApeCoin TGE before the other side mint. And I think that 152 ETH day actually was the exact day that Elon changed his PFP. So here's the real alpha.
Yeah.
Full on risk, full on bull. Whatever Elon tweets about something that you have bags in, that's your sign to sell. Go ahead, Joey.
Has there been another NFT that hit an all-time high after their token?
Well, I mean, Bored Ape Yacht Club. You were saying another one in addition.
No, I'm saying besides Bored Ape Yacht Club, has there been another NFT collection that had a TGE that post TGE they hit an all-time high?
The NFTs, you mean, Joey, not the token, right?
Correct. The NFTs themselves. That they didn't dip to like nothing.
No, I can't recall. There might be. I just can't recall one. Yeah, I can't really recall one.
I think I can't either, but I think part of that had to do with the ApeCoin drop was really the first for an NFT collection. And then after that, because of the success the token had and the collection had, I think after that, like ApeCoin was kind of a surprise. Like it didn't get priced in to the NFT, right? And then every subsequent one, the TGE got priced into the NFT and therefore it sold off afterwards, right? Like I just, is that making sense?
No, it makes sense. I think the market became more educated because they started to do the crazy math of, oh, if I hold this asset and I get this much, then what, and then if I sell the asset, whatever. But I was just hearing you say that the timing of it makes it sound now, right, in our current atmosphere, it sounds so crazy that like, oh yeah, somebody had a TGE and the NFT didn't go to zero. It actually hit an all-time high after.
Dude, it was such a wild time. Like you just had to be here. It was absolutely nutty. I knew it. We knew it wasn't going to last forever. I told myself this is not going to last forever. Still not fully appreciate how absolutely wild 21 to 22 was. Like it was pure insanity. Like it literally was pure insanity. And beyond the ones that we all know and hear about, like, if you're here, you're familiar with Bored Ape Yacht Club. I bet there's, I don't know, 20, 30% of this room who's never even heard of Loot. Loot was a 6-figure lunch. Kid you not, took a lunch break, saw Dom tweet a contract, figured out how to manually mint on the contract, minted a few of them, and it resulted in a 6-figure gain over lunch because the NFTs it was words, text. Like that's all it was, words on an NFT. No mint site, no website, just had to mint the NFTs off contract. The NFTs would rip up to like 15, 20 ETH. That's actually another one. So AGLD was gold, Loot Gold. It wasn't even Dom, it was the community dropped it. And per NFT, I don't think it hit 100K, but the amount of AGLD that you got for holding one Loot NFT, it's Pico Top. I remember because I freaking took a screenshot instead of selling. See, I learned a lot last cycle. I think it ran up to about $77,000 per NFT. So basically you could mint a free NFT over lunch. Within weeks, the NFT you could sell for 20 ETH when ETH was 4 or 5K. Well, never 5K, but 4K. And if you didn't sell it yet, you got another $77,000 stimmy. It's just insanity. Like it sounds even like silly saying that out loud now, like how not normal that was. It got so crazy. So insanely crazy. I just can't help but think, like, we haven't felt that yet this cycle. Like, yes, we've had daily runners. Yes, we've had memes. We have not even been close to euphoric pandemonium that we saw in 21, 22. That's why.
Cap, is it fair or fucked up to say that the NFT teams that are currently doing the thing, working on the brand, pushing out products, are the very best that we're going to get for the NFT sector, specifically as a niche, as a bubble, as like a sub niche, as a sub industry, while other areas, stables, AI, RWAs, gamify, whatever the fuck you want to call it, those best teams have yet to come and introduce themselves into the industry, whereas like the best you're going to get for NFTs is already kind of like here and doing the thing, whereas the best everywhere else has yet to come. Is that fair or true or incorrect?
Are we talking
And
about
is that a bear
PFP?
statement? Joey, say it again.
Are we talking about PFP NFTs? Like what?
Yeah, PFP, like NFTs, like
So,
PFP NFTs, like Punks, Basie, Moonbirds, Spencer, like the whole nine.
My first initial gut would say yes. Like the best are already here from the NFT PFP grouping. I don't think the best are here when it comes to gaming, RWAs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think a lot of the lower priced, high supply type NFT, like, I mean, no one talks about Ticketmaster and they don't like ticket NFTs. Like that sort of stuff is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And my first got to say, yeah, like the NFT PFPs, the blue chips are already here. They like it's going to be the ones that have made it, and they may grow. We might see consolidation. But then as I say that, I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out like Good Vibes Club, who is a just came here this cycle. Now they've been building for years, so you could say, oh, they were here. I think that there is a scenario. I think Starboss said earlier, it's like a new modern age Kickstarter. I do think there is an outcome where ETH rips to 10K. Attention starts flooding into space. All the banks are starting L2s and stable coins. Klanos wins a freaking Oscar, and so does Good Vibes Club. And Doodles has the hit music video of the summer. Any one of those things happen, there's going to be other entrepreneurs that look at this space as a way to launch their business, as a funding mechanism. I think what OSF is doing with Rec Drinks, I think that model could be a big onboarder for entrepreneurs, current and future founders. So while I want to say yes, we're not going to see more PFP brands come in and shoot up to 5, 10 ETH plus. I also didn't think Good Vibes Club would run up to 0.6 or whatever they are already. Like it's still possible. I just don't think it's not going to be the mania, like 10,000 new projects minting a month. But I think it is very realistic that we see high quality builders come in and use NFT, brand coin, et cetera, to build a community, to launch their business, to find product market fit, to leverage the network effects, all these brand ambassadors. Like I think that absolutely could happen. Thoughts?
I was gonna say I don't think we've seen I don't think PFP NFTs are the future, but I do think we're gonna see more people like the Good Vibes Club guys that have experience in the space, you know, whether that's through their time at Reddit and places like that, come here and build something. But I don't. So I think there's still opportunities beyond the Lucas, the Gargas, the Spencers. I just don't know. I mean, you have to imagine at some point Disney is gonna find a way outside of their Disney Pinnacle, which is on Flow, right? That's their pin collecting. I can't imagine that there isn't a point where a Disney or a Pixar or as the space continues to grow, doesn't come here and leverage the technology in a way that we haven't seen yet. So do I think this is the best we're going to get? Probably not, because I think there's still a lot of very big brands that are not leveraging this technology the way that it could be leveraged. And maybe they won't be PFPs, so maybe it's a different topic, but I still think there's more people out there that can come into this space.
Yeah, I don't think infra is like celebrated as much as like PFPs are, Joey, for the obvious reasons. So like, yeah, you're right in saying that the infra companies, infra products with NFT wise, sure, probably will come in and be better. But when it comes to the PFP stuff, I don't think you're going to find much better currently. And I think it's important to actually place, like when we say better, like what are we rating these statistics off of? I think it's collectability number one, collectability price number two, and I think the third thing is like social commitment. Social branding is also the third one, fourth one, whatever. I think those things are probably at least what I refer to as like what I think like the better is. I think it's been there, done that. I think the infra stuff, to your point, probably have better in for those for sure. Ticketmaster being one. I don't even know that they're on Flow to begin with, but yeah.
Starbucks, I want to do a quick more and then I'll go to you right after this. I just need to get in here, pay the bills, so Steve doesn't get upset with me. I will we'll go right back to you here in about 90 seconds.
The more you know, brought to you by ENS.
It's time for the more you know, brought to you by ENS. ENS does more than you know, from being one name for all chains to allowing you to launch decentralized websites, security, interoperability with ease of use. Go to ens.domains to learn more and secure your ENS domain. Today's the more you know, we're going to go take it back to Tom Lee. Who is Tom Lee? Tom Jung Lee is a prominent Wall Street strategist, investor, and crypto bull, co-founder and head of research at Fundstrat Global Advisors. He began his career at firms like Hyder Peabody and JP Morgan before launching Fundstrat in 2014. His media presence, he's been a regular contributor on CNBC programs like Fast Money and Tech Check, offering insights on markets and crypto. He's a crypto pioneer, among the first major Wall Street strategists to formally cover Bitcoin for clients. Rose to fame calling Bitcoin at 2K, hitting 55K in 2017. Big Bitcoin bull, continues to forecast bullish price targets, example, 250,000, 250K for Bitcoin, citing factors like ETF inflows and upcoming halvings. And then in early July 2025, he noted that an in-kind ETF contributions and profit taking by early adapters are two key factors to holding Bitcoin back, even amid record ETF inflows surpassing 48 billion. Quick segue, but also in the news, there was a $1 billion+ of Bitcoin that just woke up and moved after 14 years. I saw some speculation it might be Ross on the move. Who knows? But over 10,000 Bitcoin were just moved in the last 24 hours. And that's the other, to that point, a lot of the, if you look at some of the charts, a lot of these individuals who have held more than 10,000 Bitcoin, that's been the recent wave of sellers, the OGs that cashing out, moving on maybe. But on Ethereum, Mr. Tom Lee was just named chairman of Bitmine Immersion Technologies. It's a crypto mining company, which is shifting its treasury to Ethereum, targeting 250 million in ETH reserves. Lee dubbed stablecoins as the basically they called it ChatGPT. He called it crypto's counterpart to ChatGPT, highlighting Ethereum's role, saying like ChatGPT was what got everyone using AI. Stablecoins is what's going to get everyone using crypto, and he has projected ETH to reach as high as 10K in the upcoming years. I pinned that video up top. It's a good 3-4 minute read on Tom, who is a heavyweight macro strategist known for bold crypto predictions, remains optimistic on Bitcoin while increasingly betting on Ethereum through industry influence and high-profile board rules. Again, that's the more you know, brought to you by ENS. Head to ens.domains to secure your domain today. Starboss, appreciate your patience. We'll go back to you.
Thank you. Hey, I like what you just highlighted from Tommy, and I appreciate the ENS direction. You know, I think it's important to your identity and your personal brand sovereignty to have some of that stuff in order for yourself if you're going to stay here in this space. And I appreciate the notion of the Substack. Were you talking earlier, Joe, about like the mini SaaS and, you know, building, you know, stacks and having the microtransactions, which is all really important. But further, besides what you were just saying, highlighted from what Tommy was saying about, you know, the ETH going to 10K, because 2 or 3 years ago or 4 years ago, when we were all having this, you know, trading high, because it was crazy times, Cap. I'm telling you, you reminded me about how fun and exciting it was to be like, oh, I got a new piece of art, I got a new NFT, and then you would change your PFP, right? And so there was just a time where it would just all flow. Like they'd, you know, NFTs were just pieces of art and from a community. Now they represent tokens and they represent leverage and they represent all these other things. And now there's different kinds of tokens that offer you different kind of financial instruments. which we didn't have 4 years ago. And with AI and chat being right there on everybody's phones, now you don't have to know how to code. You just have to know how to drive the information through the AI to create the code for you. So that said, there's going to be a lot more of that going on, and people bringing their micro businesses or their micro SaaSes to market very quickly because the AI can build it for you within minutes. And if you know, you know. And that said, when kind of moving to the conversation about like large brand names who are not really in our space yet here with regard to at least crypto, or they're kind of slowly moving into the NFT token awards. Like you attended this concert, so now in your Ticketmaster, Queens of the Stone Age is going to throw in a commemorative ticket that you were there. And these kinds of collectibles, especially the early ones now, are going to, it's going to create like, it's going to become more commonplace for these things. But I want to point, one of the things for me that changed my NFT pride is when we had to start, we started paying for our check marks, and then it became prohibitive to be able to enjoy or commune with your NFT art community that you just bought into. So like if you're wearing an identity on your PFP in social media, then that's what you're known for. So if you're having an ape or a penguin or a doodles or whoever you identify with as your community to represent, then that's the brand you're building. You're not actually like building your own personal brand. So it's, what are your goals? What are your objectives? What are you here for? Like you have to figure out like your intentions. Are you here for business, or are you here for entertainment? Are you here just for a money grab? Those days are a little bit harder to find, but there are going to be more and more coins coming out and more NFTs or tokens and more communities, just because AI is going to make it very easy for that to happen. But Substack, micro SaaSes, stacks are going to be more and more out there, and it's just going to bring more people into the space, and it's just going to take a little bit more time. We just are still very early, in my opinion, but AI is going to speed all of that up pronto mundo.
Yeah, fair. I would push back respectfully that I just actually wholeheartedly disagree on the personal brand building. Having built a personal brand off the back of this PFP, I've rocked every day since April 2021. It has benefited myself much more so than it's benefited the Bored Ape Yacht Club, but that's a discussion for another day. To each their own. Some people like rocking their faces, nothing wrong with that. Others like rocking their favorite brands, whether it's a sports team or a PFP. And in my case, rocking a PFP has not. Yes, has it helped Bored Ape Yacht Club? Maybe sure, to some degree. They get free publicity for 936 shows in a row every morning, but the amount of doors it's opened, the opportunities it's presented myself, from relationships to opportunities to funding, everything in between. I don't know if Coffee with Captain would be a thing today had I not started rocking a PFP in 2021. I don't know if I do know for a fact it would not be, because I did have a personal brand with my face on this app for a dozen years prior to, and never built any sort of following or personal brand on this app. So as a person who's built a personal brand off the back of it, I have to respectfully disagree, but I understand your take, and it doesn't, like, there's no right or wrong. It's just, people absolutely can build personal brands off the back of PFPs. In fact, I think it's the fastest shortcut on all of the internet. But again, conversation for another day. We got to wrap up here. Joey, I need you to pick a number between 1 and 10. We got a Caps Clutch Market parlay of the day to give away. Pressure's on, Joey. I can't hear Joey though. Is it you muted?
No, because I can't hear him either. I'll give you 7.
7? Awesome. Let me. If you're the winner, you got to thank Andrew. If you're not the winner, you can blame Andrew. 7 is the lucky number. So I got to find the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is the General Wags. Congratulations. You won today's or today's cap clutch market parlay of the day. I'm going to send you a DM now. Just need your ETH/Ape chain wallet. I'm sending the text or the DM so I don't forget. You won parlay of the day. Just need your Ape chain /EVM wallet. Congrats. Head to Clutch Market, ape.clutch.market to get your parlays in. It's a 4th of July holiday weekend, so the good slate for baseball. I haven't looked over tons of afternoon games. Actually, the first one's at 11:05 today. Red Sox playing in DC. The Nationals, the first pitch in like an hour here. And then there's several afternoon games. Usually holidays like this, you got a good full day of baseball. So from 11 a.m. to 10:05 p.m., you can get your bets in over on Billy Bets. If you're curious, I'll give you all a quick preview here, and then we'll let you all get on to your holiday today. But quick look at the early picks. Again, you want to look closer to game time. Not feeling good one way or the other on the Red Sox versus the Nats, but looking ahead a little bit, it likes early. It likes the Yanks, the White Sox, and the A's today over on Billy. Have fun today. Keep all your fingers and toes. Don't drink and drive. Joey had to leave. 7 was the answer. Yeah, it's amazing. CryptoPain and Andrew both picked the same number. So 7 is the lucky number today. Congrats again to General Wags, longtime friend of the show, support of the show. Appreciate you. Appreciate everyone who joined us today. Slow start, ended up still getting up almost to 200 live listeners on the space. Love to see it on a holiday. Abstract chat wins once again. YouTube chat popping off on front and wins the chat today. 100 bonus points to you and 100 bonus points in the abstract chat to both. We had 2 people guess it right. It was Wealth Creator and Epic both nailed April 2022 as the Bored Ape Yacht Club all-time high, and you were correct. All that said, have a fun weekend out there. Join us on Monday. We'll get the carousel out Saturday, Sunday. We'll be back next week. Steve's back in the saddle, and we've got some fun campaigns we're looking forward to kicking off next week. So appreciate everyone who joined us this week. We'll be back to do it again next week. And with that, I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful day.